Before we start, I would just like to say that some of our content may be triggering for some of our listeners and viewers. If you need help, please see your GP or check out our show notes for a list of support services. While advice is given during these podcasts, this is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice. Neither the host nor the guests of this podcast may be held responsible for any action or claims in any way resulting from the information provided.
Hello and welcome to the Tough Mothers podcast and Tough Mothers TV. I'm your host, Dr. Jen. Thank you for being here today and joining me. We're going to be speaking about subconscious negative thoughts. What are they? Where are they? And how you can change them today. But I wanted to start with a thank you to everyone who's been listening and watching the show. It's been a really exciting journey and I just absolutely love doing these interviews and bringing them to you. The feedback we've received from mothers and fathers has been incredible, and it seems people are really getting out of the interviews exactly what I hoped they would. And so I'm really excited to keep going and bring you another episode today. But first, as you may know from the show notes if you've checked them out, toughmothers.com/interviews if you haven't, there is a competition that runs every single month of the Tough Mothers podcast and Tough Mothers TV. All you have to do to enter is subscribe, rate and review the show on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube, and you are in the draw to win a Tough Mothers prize. It has been a month now since we launched, and so it's time for me to draw the first winner. This month, the lucky winner is Jackie T. Thank you so much, Jackie, for subscribing, rating and reviewing the show. I'm going to send you a signed copy of my best-selling book, I Wish Someone Had Told Me, Unspoken Truths About What Really Happens to Women During Labour, Childbirth and the First Few Weeks of Motherhood. If you would like to be in the running to win a signed copy of my book or other Tough Mothers prizes, please remember to subscribe, rate and review the Tough Mothers podcast and Tough Mothers TV. Okay, on to the episode. Subconscious negative thoughts. What are they? Where are they? And how can you change them today? You might actually want to grab a pen and paper for this one because it is full of actionable tips. I know the term subconscious negative thoughts is already quite descriptive, but I just want to explain a little more about this. Subconscious thoughts are thoughts that you have on a daily basis that you may not even be aware of. That's why they're subconscious, because they're just below the surface, below your level of consciousness, but not so far down that they're unconscious. They're not conscious or intentional thoughts, but they're there enough for us to realize they exist. Do you understand what I mean? It's that endless chatter we have in our minds. You know what I'm talking about? Did you know that chatter controls us and the beliefs we have of ourselves? Those subconscious thoughts, that chatter is always there, which is why it is so important that what we're telling ourselves is not negative. Because if our day is filled with subconscious negative thoughts, our experience of life and ourselves will be unpleasant. In motherhood, we're often swamped with subconscious negative thoughts, and they can come in all different forms. For instance, you might be thinking, what if my baby stops breathing in the night? Or other mothers think I'm a bad mum because I give my children processed snacks or something similar. Or I should do more activities with the kids, or I should get them off their devices. Or this one, my partner is lazy and doesn't ever do anything around the house. Or this beauty that I am sure we have all thought at one point or another, I am a bad mother. Do any of these sound familiar? Yep, they're all familiar to me. I've been feeling a little bit overwhelmed lately, just life, and I noticed that this week my subconscious negative thoughts have been out of control. I woke up this morning and the first thought was, there is a load of dry clean washing in the dryer that I haven't folded, and the kids might want to wear some of those clothes. I'm a bad mum. I'm always behind. Every other mother is better than me. And so the self guilt trip snowball started earlier this week with crappy thoughts like that. But this morning, after my own little guilt trip and pity party about the clothes, I recognized what was going on and I said, no. And I mean, I literally said it out loud. No, I am not a bad mum. All that is really happening is I have a dryer full of clothes. That is the fact. My thoughts around my capability and my suitability as a mother are not true. Those thoughts are subconscious negative thoughts and they are BS. They are lies. I needed to remember, and I hope you do too, this very important point. Our thoughts lie to us all the time. We must be curious about our thoughts and discerning and a little bit skeptical. And we should always check in with our heart when our minds go crazy, because our heart doesn't lie to us. Subconscious negative thoughts are extremely destructive. Apart from the obvious, there are 3 main reasons why that is. Number 1, subconscious negative thinking can permanently rewire your brain. If we continually think negative thoughts, the neural pathways involved in this thinking will be strengthened. And the stronger your pathways are, the more likely that you believe your thoughts are true. Also, as you keep strengthening these connections, the neural pathways will become so strong that the thoughts become automatic, unconscious, and a part of your belief about who you are. And that is danger territory. Reason 2 is that subconscious negative thoughts do nothing but make you feel bad, mad, sad, angry, etc. As soon as we have a negative thought, it releases chemicals in the brain that make us feel a certain way. When we feel those emotions, our body reacts to that thought. So we have a negative physiological reaction, such as a racing heart, increasing cortisol, or whatever emotion it is you're feeling. Over time, this will affect the body because the body keeps a score. And number 3, you end up acting on the way you feel. So you may end up picking a fight with your husband, indulging in unhealthy foods, or stop doing things that are actually good for you, such as exercising, which usually exacerbates the negative feelings and subconscious negative thoughts, so it becomes a vicious cycle. Having said all that, all the reasons subconscious negative thinking is so destructive make subconscious positive thinking very, very beneficial. If your subconscious thoughts are predominantly positive, you will rewire your brain to see and appreciate the positives in situations. Your thoughts will release chemicals in the brain that bring about happy, grateful, and content emotions, which in turn have a physiological effect on your body. And this in turn makes us act in a different way, such as being more patient and kind to ourselves and others. So how do we change subconscious negative thoughts today? It's simple. Hey, I didn't say it was easy. It takes work, but the benefits are phenomenal. There are 5 evidence-based steps for you to take. Number 1, we must become aware of our thoughts. Honestly, become aware of the underlying chatter that is literally ear-bashing you from the inside. Recognize it is there. Become aware of your specific thoughts. Listen to them. Be discerning and be curious. Number 2, write your thoughts down. This is important to see if there is a recurring pattern to your subconscious negative thinking. Most likely there is an underlying catalyst to make you think what you're thinking, and if it is recurring, it is something that should definitely be explored. However, writing your thought down also literally offers a different perspective of that thought. Once it is written, how does it look now? Get the thought out of your head and onto paper. There are many, many benefits to this. Number 3, ask yourself, is what my thoughts are telling me true? Remember what I said earlier? Our thoughts lie to us all the time. There's a huge chance that the thought you're having that is disturbing you is not even true. What may be true is the fact that created the thought. For me, this morning, for instance, it was the fact that I left the washing in the dryer. That was a fact. What is not a fact is that I'm a bad mum because I left the washing in the dryer. I've previously spoken about this not equaling that, and this is a perfect example. Don't let your thoughts lie to you. This does not always equal that. Number 4, after you have written down your thoughts and distinguished the fact from fiction, it is time to start retraining your brain. We want to weaken the negative thinking pathways and strengthen the positive ones. One way to do this is, for every negative thought you had about yourself, write down 2 positive things, or rather things that are actually true and good. In my instance, I wrote, I am a good mother for washing my clothes. And the fact that I'm even thinking this subconscious negative thought shows me how much I truly care about my kids. It works. And last but not least, just say no. This is sometimes easier said than done, especially if your thought is persistent and you can't convince yourself that it is fiction or incorrect. But I urge you to give it a try. When you have your subconscious negative thoughts, say no out loud and see how that makes you feel. With time, a simple no may suffice to break your subconscious negative thinking, but in the early days, it will hopefully be enough to act as a circuit breaker to jolt you into questioning your thoughts and doing steps 1 through 4 we just spoke about. There's a lot in there. Please give it a try and let me know how it goes for you. Many of my clients have used this very successfully, as have I. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go get the clean clothes out of my dryer. That sparked this whole episode. Until next time, thank you for being here, and don't forget to rate, review and subscribe to be in the running to win a Tough Mothers Prize.